Are you thinking about moving to the Metro West area of Boston? I'm answering some top questions today that people ask about Metro West. And my producer and I are trying something different today. I don't even know what the questions are yet, but he's going to feed them to me so you can get my raw, unvarnished answers. I'm Jane. I'm a realtor based in Wellesley, Massachusetts, and my channel is all about living in Metro West and its real estate market. So if you're thinking about moving, feel free to give me a call. What is Metro West? Metro West is basically the area to the west of 95, almost directly west of Boston, up north to Concord, Acton, Wellesley, and down south as far as Natick, Medfield. Norwood is probably pushing it to what is the end of Metro West. And it's this very densely populated area that's a great commute to downtown Boston and the tech region, which is out on 495. So highly populated and lots of really fabulous towns that I feature each week because it's the area that I serve as a realtor. So let's dive into the questions. So my first question, is everybody a crazy Patriots fan? Well, we were till Tom Brady left us. Break my heart. It is a really weird feeling to be heading into a Super Bowl and the Pats have been out of it forever. We lost our coach. So I am a crazy Patriots fan, but you are going to find rabid Bruins fans for hockey, Red Sox fans for baseball, and of course, terrific Celtics fans. So we are a really big sports city. So if you are interested in sports, Boston is a great place for you. Do I need a car? Well, again, that depends. I think with Uber and like Zipcar, if you're a person that really doesn't want to have a car and either is a remote worker or taking the commuter rail to your office in Boston or Cambridge, then you could get by without a car. And one of the things that I've noticed younger buyers check is our walkability scores of our listings. So my husband and I, for example, really want to be in an in-town location where we can walk to Starbucks and walk to the dry cleaner, and that's been important to us. It also is because we wanted our kids to be able to walk to school. So we always chose a neighborhood where they could walk to elementary, middle, and high school. Now, I'll be honest, they did not always walk either to school or home, but they could, especially if they got stuck and we were busy at work. So I think the short answer is you probably would want a car, especially if you have some children that you need to get to and fro. But if you're a single person or don't have kids to chart around, you could get by without a car. How are the schools here? The schools here are outstanding. We have terrific public schools. We also have terrific parochial schools, Catholic high schools, some for girls, some for boys, some co-ed, and you can really find something for any student's particular needs. One of the things that surprised me when I only had one child, but once I had more, I knew I kind of got it more, was that people will do different things for different children. So one child might not have excelled in public school, so they put them in maybe a smaller environment in private, and then the siblings might stay in public. So the nice thing is we have options, and the public schools are among the most highly rated in the whole country. So for that, I'm very grateful. Is there good nightlife in Metro West? If you're a 30-something person who really wants some action, no, not move here. However, the profile here is generally young families, and then people like myself are empty nesters and people aging in place. So it can be quite a bit older. Now then, the good news is we're so close to Boston that you can take advantage of just about any concert show in downtown Boston. But in general, Boston is a sleepy town. The lights go out at 1 a.m. We are not up till 4 like the New Yorkers. And so I would say right in my town, there are lots of activities, but there's concerts and stuff, but you're going to be home by 10:30. But one of the things that my husband and I are doing for the first time, which I always wanted to do when I had kids at home and just wasn't possible, was join this Boston speaker series. So that takes place at Symphony Hall, and once a month they have really interesting public figures come and speak, and you subscribe to the whole season. So the first one we had this year was Jane Fonda, Ben Van Jones from CNN, just had the former ambassador to the Ukraine, and the most famous person they ever had, I think, was Bill Clinton. He was great. So there's all kinds of different things. My parents always went to symphony and to the opera, and I actually also Broadway shows, so we do get a number of that kind of stuff is coming to Boston. And you're still, even if you're living in Framingham, you're still only a 40-minute drive or a train ride to get to see a show. Are people nice in the Boston suburbs? Well, I live in the Boston suburbs and I'm nice. We are aggressive drivers, so sometimes you might think people are not nice when you're on the road, but people are busy and they can be, I think, a bit rushed, but I think there's nice nice people everywhere you go. And if you move here and you can't find somebody nice, I will introduce you to some. Our neighbors neighborly? Well, I'm a good person to ask because my husband's a builder and we moved a lot. I think we moved 5 times in the first 7 years we lived in Wellesley. Then our twins were born and we stopped moving. So I've had a lot of neighbors. So in general, where I've lived, we've always had small pieces of land. So you're pretty close proximity to your neighbors. My very first neighborhood in Wellesley, we are still friends with some of those neighbors. They're some of my closest friends because we all had young children together. We used to like hang out and let them play in the street. It was a quiet street. Take stroller walks together. We would have cookouts in each other's yards. So that community, we had always got together at someone else's house so the kids could play outside. So in general, I would say people are neighborly. I think like anywhere you have to be respectful of their space and yours. I do feel a little social pressure, not like I would never want to have trash or garbage or an extra car on my lawn. I was just showing a house, they're keeping a Porsche in the front yard. I'm like, people, you're not helping yourself. But I don't think your neighbor would appreciate that. How much money do I need to buy a home? Well, this is a question that you should ask a mortgage lender because, and I kind of like this, I don't really need to know the particulars of your financial situation. I just have you talk to a couple preferred lenders that I know have great programs and are very responsive and will make sure that your loan gets shepherded through the whole process and you're clear on what's happening each step of the way. But the thing that I would do first is connect you with a lender and they will tell you what you can afford based on how much you can put down and how high your credit score is and how much of your monthly income are you willing to put towards your house. I always say to my buyers, just because the bank tells you that you can afford $1 million house doesn't mean that you want to live in $1 million house because you might prefer to have a little more spending money at the end of the month. So if you would like to find out what you can afford, let me know in the comments and I will connect you with 2 of my favorite lenders so you can check out some great programs. Finally, what do I need to know about the market before buying a house? Here is my projection for 2024. Now, I'm cheating a little bit because just yesterday, Shant Banosian from Guaranteed Rate, who's the #1 mortgage originator in the country, came to our office to give us a presentation on predictions of where the market is going in 2024. So, of course, these are just projections and predictions. No one can, last year, he reminded us that last year at this time, they thought rates were going to go down. And then 2 major banks failed, which was First Republic and Silicon Bank. There were runs on the banks. Like nobody predicted that. So the market seesawed a little bit last year, but for this year, the prices are maybe go up a little bit, but not a lot. We're expecting mortgage interest rates to drop. They usually go down in an election year. However, inventories are tight. A balanced real estate market is a 6-month inventory. What we mean by when we say that is if everybody who was looking for bought a house, that takes about 6 months of inventory. We haven't had 6 months of inventory since 2019. So there's not enough homes and more buyers. And every time the interest rates drop a little bit, more buyers can afford to buy. So you have to have your team in place. You have to have your lender, you have to have your realtor who is used to working in a competitive environment where there's going to be multiple offers on most homes. And if you see something good, you need a strategy to get in there and make as strong an offer as possible. So it's not easy, but it's doable. Well, that was kind of fun. So if you are thinking about moving to Metro West of Boston, please reach out as I would love to help you. And if you do have questions about your particular situation and the possibilities of moving here and timing wise, please just ask the question. I'm happy to consult and also happy to connect you with Shant and another lender that can give you some idea of your financial picture because that is absolutely the first thing you should do. So before we go, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and please reach out if you're relocating here. And thank you so much for watching.